3 years after the funeral, the postman still brings envelopes with her husband's name. Electricity bills she can bear. Bank statements she has learned to open without her hands shaking. But this one is different. This one is thick and stamped. And inside it, a bank is demanding something from him. A bank, with all its lawyers and computers and files, has written a 60-day demand to a man who has been gone for 3 years. The notice threatens to auction the house he built for her, and it does not contain her name or her children's names anywhere. As far as this paper is concerned, she does not exist. Only he does. She thinks the mistake makes the bank stronger, that a machine so careless must also be unstoppable. Tonight, 3 old stories will show her the opposite. That this envelope is not the elephant's strength. It is the elephant's confession. Welcome back to Dr. Mind Forensics. Tonight, the paperwork problem, the dead who are summoned, the firms that no longer exist, and the guarantors who were quietly set free without anyone telling them. The Panchatantra tells of 4 friends who set out to make their fortune. 3 were immensely learned. The 4th had no degrees at all, only common sense. In the forest, they found the bones of a lion. The first scholar, proud of his science, assembled the skeleton. The second, prouder still, wrapped it in flesh and skin. The third raised his hand to breathe life into it, and the 4th, the simple one, said, "Brothers, that is a lion." They laughed at him. He climbed a tree. The 3rd scholar completed his art. The lion rose. And the lion did what lions do to all 3 of its learned creators. Our grandmothers told us this story to warn us about knowledge without judgment. Tonight I'll show you the banking version, because banks perform this exact resurrection in file after file all over this country. They breathe paper life into things that are legally dead. Resurrection 1, the dissolved firm. Under the Partnership Act, when a partner of a 2-partner firm dies, the firm dissolves in the eye of the law. It is not sick. It is not dormant. It has ceased to exist, like the lion was bones. The Supreme Court settled this decades ago. And yet notices go out, year after year, in the name of firms that dissolved when a partner was cremated, demand notices addressed to ghosts, auctions conducted against entities that are, in law, bones on a forest road. Resurrection 2, the deceased borrower. When a borrower or a mortgagor dies, the law does not let the bank simply keep writing to the dead. The estate passes to legal heirs, and they must be identified, notified, and brought into the proceedings. Given their 60 days, their right to reply, their right to redeem. A recovery march forward against a dead man, without his heirs, is not a strong claim with a small typo. Courts have repeatedly treated such action as a nullity, void, as if it never happened. And here is what I want the widow on the veranda to understand, the reframe that changes everything. The 3 scholars were not destroyed despite their skill. They were destroyed by their own creation. When a bank resurrects a dead firm or a dead man on paper, that paper does not strengthen its case. That envelope with her husband's name, she should not burn it, and she should not fear it. She should laminate it. It is Exhibit 1. Aesop now. A flood swept 2 pots down a river, one of brass, one of clay. The brass pot, feeling friendly, called out, "Stay close to me, brother, and I will protect you." And the earthen pot answered, with the oldest wisdom of the weak, "That is exactly what I fear. Whether you strike me or I strike you, it is always I who break." Now let me tell you who the earthen pot is in every loan file in India. A sister signs as guarantor for her brother's business loan because he asked at a family dinner, because refusing felt like betrayal, because it's only a formality, Chechi. Years pass. The brother's account struggles. And here is what happens next, in case after case, without a single letter to her. The bank restructures the loan. New amounts, new interest, new timelines. The bank releases one of the brothers' properties from the security, quietly, for reasons of its own. The bank gives the brother extensions she never heard about. And then, one morning, the earthen pot gets the notice. Pay the whole flood. What she did not know, what the bank is betting she does not know, is that the Contract Act built exit doors into the guarantee itself. Doors that may have opened for her years ago, silently, to the bank's own conduct. Door 1, variance. Any material change in the terms of the loan made without the guarantor's consent can discharge the guarantor for everything after it. The deal she guaranteed and the deal that exists are two different rivers. Door 2, release. If the bank releases or discharges the principal borrower, the guarantor goes free with him. The shadow cannot outlive the tree. Door 3, composition and time. A quiet compromise with the borrower, extra time given behind the guarantor's back. The law treats her trust as betrayed and may open the door. Door 4, the lost security. This is the deepest one. The guarantor's greatest protection was always this. If I pay, I step into the bank's shoes and take the security. So if the bank, by its own act or neglect, loses or gives up the security, releases a mortgage property, lets hypothecated stock vanish without a murmur, the guarantor is discharged to the extent of the value lost. The bank that damages its own security is spending the guarantor's money. So if you sign for someone you love, do not sit and drown quietly beside the brass pot. Audit the river. Demand in writing every restructuring, every release, every extension, every change since the day you signed. Each one is a door, and some of them may already be open. One more story, the darkest and the most useful. A Brahmin bought a goat for a ceremony and carried it home on his shoulders. 3 rogues wanted that goat. They did not attack him. They were cleverer than that. They stationed themselves along his road. The first passed him and said, "Learned sir, why do you carry a dog?" The Brahmin laughed. The second, further along, said, "Sir, a holy man, carrying a dog?" The Brahmin frowned and looked at the goat. The third cried out, "A dog on a Brahmin's shoulders." And the Brahmin, a man who could read the stars, put down his own goat, washed himself in the river, and walked away. The rogues ate well that night. They did not steal the goat. They made him doubt his own eyes. Now sit with a borrower who is staring at a guarantee deed in a bank's file, at a signature almost his. The loops are wrong. The pressure is wrong. He signed 2 documents that day, and the file has 5. But the bank says it is his. The bank's lawyer says it is his. The file, stamped and bound, says it is his. And somewhere around the 3rd repetition, like the Brahmin, he begins to put down his memory and walk away. Do not put down the goat. Document forensics is a science, my science as it happens, and it does not care how many rogues repeat the lie. Here is the ant's discipline when a paper feels wrong. Dump the original. Photocopies hide everything. Ink, pressure, and paper speak only in the original. A bank that can never quite produce the original is telling you something. Compare the undisputed, your admitted signatures from the same era placed beside the disputed one. Differences in habit, not just shape. Where you start a letter, where you lift the pen. Look at the whole document. Different ink on one page. A signature squeezed into a space too small. Blank paper signatures filled in later. Pages of one deed in 2 different fonts, 2 different ages. Then bring the expert. The law allows disputed documents to be sent to a handwriting and question document examiner. You are not calling anyone a forger. You are asking science one respectful question. Is this his hand? Look at the veranda now. The envelope with his name has not been burned, and it is no longer feared. It sits in a plastic sleeve labeled Exhibit 1 beside a folder her son started this afternoon. Every restructuring letter, every release, every paper the family was never shown, demanded in writing. She understands now what the fables always taught. The resurrected lion devours its makers. The earthen pot has doors the brass pot never mentioned. And three rogues on a road cannot outvote a widow who refuses to put down what she knows. The bank wrote to her husband because it did not see her. That was its mistake. It will see her now. The rules of this series: 1. Plead dates, not indignation. 2. The bank's silence is your loudest evidence. 3. Presumptions die when records speak. 4. Cheap auctions are not accidents. 5. Police inaction is evidence. 6. Might is answered with method. And tonight, Rule 7. The elephant's own file is the ant's best witness. Next Monday, the finale, Episode 8, When the Ant Wins. What victory actually looks like. Restoration, compensation, the bill the elephant pays for cutting corners. And the one thing no tribunal can give you, because you will have already taken it back yourself. If there is a widow on a veranda in your family, or a sister who signed at a dinner table, send them this episode tonight. Some doors have been open for years. Somebody just has to tell them. Subscribe, press the bell. See you Monday. Nothing in this video is legal advice, and nothing here is a comment on any pending matter. Consult a qualified advocate for your own case. Jai Hind.